All right, Jillian, Ilhan Omar is all over the news again. This woman, she genuinely thinks she's so far superior to everyone that she coexists with, including all of the American people. Team SOT3.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point
These
where
people.
It's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
What's going on, YouTube? It's your Huckleberry here, back with another video. So we're going to be reacting to Jillian Michaels' short video about none other than Ilhan Omar. And I can't get enough of doing videos of Ilhan because she is a real problem for us as Americans. And, you just can't get the word out enough about this chick. So I don't really know exactly what Jillian's going to say here, obviously. But as you just heard from Ilhan, we're all idiots. And how else would Trump become president? I'm not going to sit here and go down, what I think about Ilhan. I've already done like 4 videos about her. Not that anybody's watching because I'm a small, relatively new channel. But that being said, we're still pushing this out there. And while we're pushing things, I want to push my No Queens apparel shop on Etsy. Go check it out. Link in the description. There's some very subtle things like the crown, the fallen chest piece, the pocket queens design. You don't have to go all out with the No Queens banner because, you might be concerned with getting attacked on the street or something. But the whole idea behind No Queens is like fundamentally the No Kings idea isn't that bad when we're saying we don't want monarchy or against royalty. No one bends the knee, that kind of thing. Whereas No Kings is a radicalized movement directed at one person and is way over the top. No Queens is trying to point out the hypocrisy and also, hey, look, if you truly believe there should be no kings, and they should just say no king because they're all about the one person. But if you truly believe there's no kings, you should also believe in no queens, which I highly doubt that they're going to get on board with because they're about their queens, which is why I have some funny caricatures in there of some of their queens. But there's also some very cool logo designs and whatnot to spread the message without being like a little bit over the top or anything like that. So again, it's hopefully something for everybody in the middle, and it's probably going to lean conservative, but there's no real objective here other than just pointing out the hypocrisy of the movement itself. But without that being said, and again, it's a satirical apparel shop, guys. There's some meaning behind it, but it also is meant to make you laugh and kind of poke fun the King movement. So, but anyway, guys, so let's get into the Jillian Michaels video here, and let's see what she's got to say about one Ilhan Omar. And yeah, if I hadn't already, I'm going to throw up the caricature of Ilhan because she's definitely got a shirt in the shop.
Congresswoman Omar, I think that I can answer this question for you. This might come as a shock to you, but the reason millions of Americans are voting for Donald Trump is a direct reaction to you and politicians exactly like you. Your rhetoric and your policies have become the greatest recruiting tool the MAGA movement has ever seen. So first, it comes down to how you talk about the country that gave you refuge. That's really the bedrock of the Trump coalition.
And I've said this before, guys. It's amazing to me how she just dogs our country and wants to change it and all this kind of stuff, when if the country wasn't the way it was, she would have never got to the position that she's in. And the logic behind what she says and everything is very anti-American. She abuses the system. She has to abuse the system because how do you get 30 million in 4 years making 180K a year? Let's just hear what Jillian's got to say.
Is unapologetic American exceptionalism because we're all Americans and we're proud to be Americans. And if you're not, you can always go home. But you see, your entire political brand is built on fundamentally dismantling that idea.
She ain't going home.
So when voters constantly hear you framing the United States as inherently oppressive and racist, they don't really appreciate it.
No.
And I think you were the one that said white guys are like the root of all evil or something. Guys, do you have that? Can you check that for me?
Oh, please pull that up and play that. Listen, white people make up like 9% of the world at best. We'll call it 10. So if we're going to look at the world stage, who's the real minority?
Guys, do you have that? Can you check that for me?
She said it.
Right. Toss up that clip.
Our country should be more fearful of white men across our country because they are actually causing most of the deaths within this country.
But not only does the average American get the pleasure of being demonized by you, we've got to watch you casually downplay one of the darkest tragedies in modern American history with phrases like, some people did something regarding 9/11. And then, of course, there's this famous clip of you talking about how you took a terrorism class in college. Find that one, guys. Fletch, throw that one in here, please.
When I was in college, I took a terrorism class, and
is that a such thing?
Yeah, there was.
So you go out, there is a lab for that?
There was a class that you.
Do you go to lab?
No, we learned the ideology
What?
I'm glad you do that.
Al Qaeda,
He's an expert.
And then, of course, we've got your foreign policy and the America Last agenda. The Trump coalition demands that our leaders put American interests first. Yet you've been caught on tape in Minneapolis giving a speech to your constituents where you've openly bragged about using your power in the U.S. Congress to protect the borders and the oceans of Somalia. You have voters in Minnesota who can't afford groceries, and you're acting like the ambassador to Mogadishu. And finally, it's really about domestic survival. The squad agenda that you champion is pretty much a suicide pact for the American suburbs. You align with the defund the police movement while violent crime exploded. You've advocated for effectively opening the borders. And while you lecture the rest of us about the virtues of democratic socialism, your own political backyard in Minnesota became ground zero for a multi-billion-dollar fraud scandal where taxpayers were robbed blind and your political machine looked the other way for votes. Your policies offer a special slice of hell for the average American family. And then there's the alleged fraud by you and your husband. There's like multi-million-dollar wineries that don't exist and investment firms with no clients. Guys, there's a great clip on this, I think, out of Fox. Can you find that?
Okay, that was far-left Congresswoman Ilhan Omar claiming the Justice Department and Congress probing her sudden skyrocketing wealth to $30 million in just 1 year, that they have a problem with her living the American dream. You heard her say the goddamn United States of America. We've got new questions on where she and her husband got all that money. Joining us now, Forbes Media Chair, Editor-in-Chief Steve Forbes. Steve, new information coming in, and Forbes magazine, your magazine, has reported this too, that the state of Delaware and Washington, D.C. canceled the registrations for Omar's husband's investment firm, Rose Lake, for not paying its back taxes. We saw it owed more than $400,000 to Delaware and nearly $1,800 to D.C. She's claiming it's worth $25 million from less than $1,000 a year before. How can his investment firm not afford to pay taxes? It's supposedly worth an estimated $75 million to $150 million. This is really weird stuff.
Well, weird is not the word for it. There's another word for it called crooked. And that's why we have to have an investigation into this. As you know, the Biden administration started examining her finances and that of her husband. And so surprise, surprise, that investigation went nowhere. But it's amazing how people can go into Congress and then become these entrepreneurial investing geniuses, where they come in, she had under $1,000 of net worth and her husband didn't have much, and suddenly now they're multimillionaires. Is there a money laundering operation here? And in terms of the firms themselves, they have a sketchy background. That winery in California that she and her husband own, where did that come from? Where's the wine there? And nobody can seem to find it. So there's a lot of smelly stuff here, and that's why in the American Dream, her version of the American Dream is the Al Capone version of the American Dream, Tony Soprano version of the American Dream, and that is steal it. Steal it from the taxpayers.
Did I miss anything in that one, team? Anything I missed about Ilhan's personal fraud accusations?
I certainly don't think so, outside of the fact that her winery might be the most efficient winery and business, for that matter, in the United States. It magically grew from $15,000 in value to
Right.
$5 million in value in 1 year.
Unbelievable.
Good Lord. Okay.
Unbelievable.
Care to hear some more?
I do, actually. You've got more? Share more with us, Porter.
Yes,
She
please.
somehow accomplished this growth with no phone line, no physical winery, barely any social media, a barely functional website, and no wine.
And no wine. Right. Okay. Well, this wouldn't be alarming at all, Ilhan. I mean, listen, here's the bottom line, okay? The cost of living is exploding for people, and our institutions are crumbling. And voters, they don't want fraud from you or your constituents. They don't want a progressive revolution. They want law and they want order. And they want to know that their tax dollars are funding their kids' schools, the roads that they drive on, the veterans who actually need it. And Donald Trump campaigns on being the brick wall standing between the American dream, the real one, and your radical institutional teardown. So every single time you demand we fundamentally transform America, you remind half the country exactly why they voted for Donald Trump to protect it. I really hope. Why in the world has this woman not gone to jail for this? This makes no sense.
It's
Like, we constantly hear
unbelievable.
about
Because
all
she's
of this
black.
fraud and no one pays. I hope to
Because
God
it's racist.
there is a thorough investigation on her.
Unbelievable.
And if in fact she did commit these crimes, that she pays for it.
So there you go, guys. There's a bigger clip for that. Go over to Jillian Michaels' channel if you want to see it. I just wanted to do the short one. But yeah, she made plenty of good points there, obviously, and we got to see and hear. I didn't even heard some of that before. No phone line. This is ridiculous. But I hope you liked the video, guys. I'm not going to sit here and just keep bashing Ilhan because you know how I feel. Check out the No Queens Apparel shop. You shall be a little bit entertained at the very least if you do. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Your days if you do. Peace!